I forgot to unmute myself. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new show of On the Radar from PvP. And for the people who don't know me, first, hi everyone who's watching, and of course, hi everyone who is listening, maybe now or later. I'm Marcella de Bie, a host from the Netherlands. I've worked quite some time for PvP as well, and I have now the honor to host this amazing show. It's really nice to see already people coming in. Hello. So today I'm gonna say a little bit what we're gonna do. Also, we got two guests. Oh yeah. We're starting off today with, well, the main topic of today is community building in the gaming industry. So for everyone who's interested, keep on watching or listening. Then we're going to the second thing, and that is my favorite word of today: Collegiate gaming community. I had to write this in Dutch, how to say this. So no, I'm still Dutch, okay? The third is the future of gaming tournaments for students. And we're gonna see some gameplay of CFX Cryptopolis. And we will have a giveaway by the end. Yes. Who I will have today, I will tell you in a bit. But we're starting today with introducing my first guest. I'm going to Jacob. Well, hello, Jacob.
It's wonderful to be with you, Marcella. Thank you.
Hello. So, I'm gonna say a little bit about you. Jacob VanRyn. You sound super Dutch. I was asking, are you not Dutch?
I am extremely Dutch, both sides.
Really?
Proud, very proud. Dad came over, first generation.
Oh, but okay. So, yeah, you don't speak any Dutch.
I don't. No.
Okay, I will keep it English then. So he's striving to enhance the student-athlete experience on a daily basis. He's the commissioner of esports at the necc, an organization that aims to serve the gaming community with respect and is proud to be a safe and inclusive environment. With more than 100 colleges and universities currently competing in their conference, the NEC strives to be a positive home for the Collegiate gaming community. See, there we got the word again. Yeah, so welcome. First question I have, how did you start working in the gaming industry?
It's a great question, and it's not my background. I will say that. My background is really traditional athletics in the collegiate space. I've worked for over 20 years in college athletics in the United States, and then all of a sudden, the physical conference, which I was working for, said they wanted to start esports. And okay. I recognized I knew nothing about it. Recognized that I needed to get some insight, get some expert help. But here I am 3+ years later, almost 4 years now at this juncture, having worked in the space to some degree, and definitely, Marcella, really proud of what we've done, proud to be a part of it. It's humbling. I say a lot of times, and people have heard me say this that know me, that I have a lot of good friends that I would not have met otherwise from being a part of this community. So really thrilled to be a part of it. So that's sort of how it came about. We started esports at the conference level, and it just grew and expanded and continues to do so today.
Mm-hmm. It's great to have you so excited for something like this, because it gets me excited, because that's the thing we want. We want people who have nothing to do with the industry getting hyped to get into this industry, because it's a great one and it's getting bigger and bigger. And definitely the whole part of like the college, I like it because it shows that it's not just, we're sitting at home playing video games and maybe don't, get no respect of everyone. No, it's like it's going to be something that is okay to do and even really cool to do. And so you work for the necc, and what does the organization do exactly?
Yeah, so essentially what we are a competitive provider to some degree for colleges and universities throughout North America. We're proud to work with almost 400 schools throughout North America at this juncture, providing, we sponsor currently 8 titles. We run basically a competitive split in the fall, run a competitive split in the spring, and that's sort of us. I think the thing that you touched on there is the collegiate space in gaming is really growing really quickly in North America. Some of it was sort of fast forwarded due to the pandemic, with a lot of schools coming online and starting programs and providing an opportunity for their community or their players on campus to have some sort of competitive organized structure. We were built sort of prior to that. and grew and continue to onboard schools and work with them. And ultimately, the thing we talk a lot about is making sure that each person, whether you are the best of the best on your way to being a professional level player or casual recreational and anywhere in between, that you have first class experience if you compete with us at the NECC. And that's been our goal since day one.
That's great. I think there's a dream for a lot of girls and guys over there who are so thrilled to be part of that. And what are some exciting esports events NEC is sponsoring or organizing this year?
Yeah, we're really proud of the way we do things. We're excited to certainly, now that the world is somewhat opened up in our neck of the woods, at least, to provide more lands. We ran a land event in the fall. We will do another one or two at least at the end of the spring semester. But for us, it's really about continuing to provide and build that community structure that you alluded to earlier. It's treating the players with the respect that they deserve. We sponsor this. We offer this just like any traditional sport, right? Soccer, baseball, football, whatever. That's how we work with our community. We're very proud to do so. So I'm humbled to be a part of this. For us, it's really about providing that outstanding competitive structure week in and week out, culminating with, we have a regular season, goes into a postseason tournament structure, just like you would any other sport. And then there's a championship awarded across each of our divisions, across each of our titles. So we're really proud of that. As we look forward to the future, certainly more in-person events. We've done a handful in the past. We're excited about that. They've been successful. And certainly as we go forward, we're excited to do more of those and be a part of more of those.
Yeah. And are you you're really focused on the US right now? Is there any, plans to go to the other side of the world?
Yeah, ultimately, yes. Right now we are through North America. We have a pretty good footprint in Canada. Actually, we're really proud of our relationship with them. Canadian friends. We have a handful of schools throughout, but yes, there are plans. The goal is to expand as we go forward and become an international organization. Right now, we're just working to continue to build the framework, continue to make sure that we can sustain and we can provide that first class experience that we talked to before we become bigger and things fall off. But I think the way that we do things, it's really with the player in mind. It's providing that what we hope is a really healthy and positive community. We have a lot of things in place to make sure that people feel safe, that people are having a good experience, and ultimately they're playing, right? It's not just, show up and forfeit central. We have a lot of things to make sure that they're playing, and I think our structure is built so that when teams compete with us, when players compete with us, they have a good experience week in and week out. They have those competitive games that they compete in, and they want to come back for more.
Yeah, that's perfect. Come to Europe, someone said in the chat. Yeah, I agree.
We're trying. We'll get there. I promise.
Good. And what's the story behind it all? Great
question. So the story behind it all is such. Like I said, I come from traditional sports. And when we talked about starting esports, I brought on who is now our director of esports. He came on board, and we were really built. He was a player who was actually a college student who had played a number of the collegiate leagues over here, and just said, listen, this is what they do well, and I think this is what we could do a little bit better.
Yeah.
So we were off and running from there. I think for us, what's really been central, what's been sort of important, what we do, we talk a lot about compete level, so that it's not just what had been done a lot of times was you're picking two teams out of a hat and say, go play a game. Well, the chances of that being a competitive game weren't really all that high, right? You'd have one team that was pretty good or one team that wasn't quite as good, or they wouldn't always match up. So for us, we built a pretty consistent, a pretty thorough divisional model, where teams that we talk again about that compete level, teams of similar compete level, were competing against one another week in and week out, so that if you had if you practiced, you did the VOD work, your comms were good, and you were playing well, you got a victory, and if you didn't, you took a loss, right? It wasn't just always show up and we're better than the other team. We do whatever we want for a couple hours and screw around and we're going to win. That's what we wanted, and we really sort of, I think what we've tried to do, certainly since we started this, was take the elements of collegiate esports and blend them with some of the more I guess elements of traditional sports with regards to scheduling and structure and divisional model and all those things. And really for us, it's been about making sure that our community has a good experience. The players that compete with us have that. They're treated with the respect that they deserve. We have game times, all those things. It's not just, hey, play a game whenever you can and tell us how it went. No, we have semester long schedules, that are 9-week regular season this spring, for example, that move into a tournament structure based on how you do during the regular season. So for us, it's been, again, about treating our community, about our players, hopefully with the respect and that they deserve, and as a result that they've enjoyed that experience competing with us.
Yeah, so it's really like a professional thing, if I hear it like this. Wow. Before we continue talking about the whole community building in the gaming industry, I would love to show a little video that we have here. I'm going to open it and we're going to look at it. Oh, I was too fast. There we go.
Like we mentioned before, with the different desk sizes, the chair quality, all these different aspects that are really important that some people may not think of. Spectrum has thought of and is taking feedback from previous product, and it went into this facility. And we're, like I said, everything is structurally sound, and it blends well, it functions well, it has all the different aspects that we were looking for.
Going into the second trailer or a little video.
To their first championship victory! It's a chip. It's a chip. We in there. It's a chip. We in there. Good shit.
Great job, man.
Okay, yeah, this is exactly what makes me happy when I see all the excitement by the end. So we saw 2 videos. They were from your social media. What was the first thing that we saw?
Yeah, it's a feature about one of our members at Carthage College. In terms of what they're building there. It was basically a spotlight video on them about their new structure, their new facility on campus. And I think, Marcella, what you talked about is that excitement level. I think you're starting to see schools, especially in North America, begin to put resources into their esports program, recognizing the importance that they hold on their campus. And you're starting to see some of these places that are really special pop up on campus, and they recognize that they're really community hubs for these student athletes to come and compete, just like a gym or a playing field or anything like that.
Yeah, like someone said in chat, Cloverdale's a beautiful game area. Well, indeed, because we kind of sometimes forget, like I have the honor and like the privilege to have a really great gaming room, but there are also quite a lot of students, kids who just don't have the money, or there's no space at home, or their parents don't support it. There are a lot of ways that they can't play video games at home. So if they have like a place where they can do, and where they can expand their knowledge or even like their skills, it's great to see that, of course.
Yeah, and I think that what we're seeing on campus is that certainly the rapid growth of kids playing at all ages, certainly at the K through 12 level over here in North America. Listen, everybody every night. I help coach a high school basketball team over here. All those kids are playing a game each night. And they're playing. They're doing it. So I think what you've started to see over here is really the influx and the growth, and now you're starting to see college campuses say, hey, this is an important part of our infrastructure of our campus, and we want to provide them with those resources. And as you talked about, Marcel, the number of land centers over here that are popping up, where even if you don't have the ability or the resources, you can go down the street, or you can go to the next town over and compete. And ultimately, listen, it's a community, right? It's I played pickup basketball in the park, and they can play League of Legends or Overwatch or Valorant or whatever with their friends, and it's really cool to see the emergence and the growth, certainly. And I think that we talk a lot about Collegiate still being in its infancy, and we're really excited for what this is going to look like over the next 2, 3, 4, or 5 decades.
100%. I'm very excited, and I hope to see you back in a couple of years, and that you can say, "Oh, it's been growing so much," and maybe you guys are already in Europe by then. So who knows?
Yeah, we hope so. That's the goal. That's definitely the goal.
Exactly. So we're gonna have a little chat about the whole community building in the gaming industry. We kind of already talked about it a little bit. But why do games need a community? That's the question. Like, why is it? And they will say gaming is a social experience, even if gamers sit playing their games alone. Most gamers do join groups of people who play the same game or game genre. These groups often keep their own community culture and ways to communicate with other community members. Let's explore how companies in the gaming industry can build communities for their gamers. How important is the community for NECC? And can you tell a little bit about the community itself?
Yeah, it's I will tell you, the word we talk about all the time is our community. It's the most important thing we work with. It's the most important thing we do. We devote the most of our resources to that, and sustaining and fostering and help provide. We talk a lot about, we didn't create this community, but we'll really help to support, promote, and hopefully push it forward. And what I mean by that is healthy, inclusive, positive. We have a lot of structures, a lot of measures in place to make sure that everybody feels safe. All those things in place to make sure that when you compete with us, you're having a good experience. All those things that we talk about. Listen, you're on a team at your college campus. It's no different than being on any other team, and that's what you want to be a part of. It's that sense of, hey, that's my teammate, that's my friend. I play that game with them, or I play against them, or whatever it may be. It's absolutely no different than traditional sports, and we're proud of that. And community is. Listen, it's not. I know it's the central topic to our discussion today, Marcel, but it's really the central word that we come back to every time is what's the most important thing to our community? How do we sponsor? How do we support? How do we do and provide for them the best possible experience? Because at the end of the day, building that community and having people have a good experience, that's what it's all about. And for us, it's when a program or a school or a team registers with us, it's listen. There's a million competitive entities out there that they compete in. For us, it's after they've played or competed with us for a semester, that they sign up and do it again because they've had that great experience. They want to be a part of that community. And it's all those other structures we talk about, and we've tried to, I'll tell you, somewhat intentionally, we've tried to break down some of the silos. When you work with so many different schools, it's hard because you say, oh, we work with X team or Y school or, X university or whatever it may be. But we've tried to share the spotlight on our programs and our schools throughout and say, hey, look what's going on here. Now, maybe you're across the country, you don't care, you've never heard of that school, but you say, hey, that's pretty cool. And then all of a sudden, the world in which we live, you can reach out. You can send them a Discord message. You can say, "Hey, I saw what you're doing," and opening those barriers and breaking down those doors is really, really cool. The only other thing I would say is that when we began this 3+ years ago now, the amount of directors, the amount of leaders on campus that would take a call, that would take a conversation, or would say, "Hey, I don't know about you. I don't know what you're doing, but it sounds cool. Let's talk about it." I mean, that's that sense of community, right? Like, hey, we're all trying to provide the best possible experience for our students. And this is really central and really important to what they're doing. And how do we enhance that? And I think that's really, really cool. Again, coming from traditional sports where it's a lot more competitive, right? You're competing for that recruit, or you have that play or that defense or that strategy or whatever it may be. Right now, collegiate esports in many ways. Now, while there's still that massively competitive element to it, which we always want to have, it's that we want to make it better across the board. And I think that's really, really cool to be a part of right now. That, listen, I might not know anybody at that school in Idaho, or I might not know anybody at that school in New Jersey or Florida, or wherever it may be, but you know what? I see what they're doing and I like it. And I want to reach out. I'm going to make a call. I'm going to contact that director and we're going to talk about that. And the amount of conversations I've had with people, the amount of conversations that we've had internally about that is really, really cool, really humbling to be a part of. And I think the most important thing is that it comes at a place of really love and respect for the players.
Yep. Most important thing. And I mean, without a community, you're nowhere. And
Absolutely.
I mean, it's overall in gaming, from esport teams to what you guys do exact. And for me as a streamer as well, like, a community is everything. I mean, you can do whatever you like, but if there's no community behind it, or like a new game, you kind of have to hype up the people, because these are the people who in the end will talk about your company or you as a streamer or your game or whatever. So I think it's always important to treat them right, and also to, listen to them, listen to what they want, because you can use it. Of course, there always maybe some toxic stuff between, but you will just filter that out, and then you just focus on the good stuff.
Yeah, I think we've been intentional about really making sure that, that toxicity doesn't exist, quite frankly. And that's obviously impossible, right? I mean, you deal with
it's gaming.
I mean, there's no magic button to push or anything like that. But the thing that we talk a lot about is that whenever something like that comes up, we really dive into it and analyze it. And we talk intentionally about how does that make us a better organization going forward, right? Like, those things are going to happen. We're going to have those instances where something happens. Now, how do we use that to use as a teaching tool? So what happened in this situation? How do I identify? How do we make it better so that in the long run, we're better set up for, that sustained success across the board? And ultimately, I go back to a message I got from a dean of students at a campus. And he was like, listen, I was watching our team play Valorant the other night, and the language on the stream, it usually drives me crazy. He's like, I know that somebody was back there making sure that things weren't getting through the Twitch filters and all that stuff. And we know how clever and people can work around those things. But we have a team that's monitoring that stuff. We make sure that stuff doesn't get out there. And we take great pride in making sure that, whether you're the best of the best, or, just a very casual player, you're going to feel safe, you're going to be included, and it's going to be a good experience. And that's really central to everything that we do.
Yeah, and I think overall it's not as a gamer myself, I know that when something is intense in a game, I might throw some words out, but like those are the words that are quite okay-ish.
Right.
But of course there are stuff that you just can't say, or like really bugging other players and saying really bad words to them. That's a different thing than like, you're getting shot by something and you're like saying one fudge word, then it's okay. But if you're going to be very mean to each other, because that you see a lot with videos on TikTok and such from girls that are playing Call of Duty, the other team or teammate, they hear that they're a girl and directly go full on. So I think it's good that people and overall kids have to learn that it's not okay to be mean to each other in any way, like normally, but also not in gaming.
Exactly right. And I think that's, we're not going to fix that problem as you talked about, but I think that if you're intentional about identifying and paying attention to it, that, it's somewhat, it's some of it's trash talk. You're absolutely right. I mean, some of it's no different than anything else that goes out there. Like, yeah, I got you, like that type of stuff to an nth degree. But I think in this case, making sure that we know what the line is, making sure that people feel safe, they understand, hey, that wasn't a dig at me personally, that was excitement because they did something good in the game, or they scored a goal or whatever it may be. It wasn't directed at me personally, and making sure that line isn't crossed is really important.
Yeah, and it's good that you guys are monitoring it as much as you can, because like you said, you can't do it all, but you will do your best as much as you could do. And how to start if you don't have a community yet. So, of course, I can say a little bit about it, but I want to hear it from you first. So what would you say? Like, I don't have a community. How do I build it?
Yeah, I think that, listen, we're in a unique spot in that we work with sort of pre-existing communities to some degree and sort of bring them together, right, in terms of a school. But, one of the things we're really proud of, Marcella, is that we work with a lot of schools that are just really student-run clubs or organizations that have really they've really started on their own, right? The school hasn't said, oh, we're sponsoring esports. It's been 5 or 6 players that have come together, say, hey, we want to start a Valorant team and we want to compete in this thing. And we're really proud to work with them. And, I ideally, help foster them and help develop them. Some of our greatest successes are programs that started as those student-run organizations, and they were 5, 6, 7 people. And now all of a sudden they're 50, 60, 70, 100 people. And the campus now sees the importance, and the decision makers on the campus are saying, we've got to hire a director or 2 or a coach or 2 or something like that, to help foster and support this community that we have on campus now. So that's really kind of cool. I think that's sort of, I guess, that authentic sort of homegrown feel of like, hey, this started as a couple kids probably in their dorm or whatever, somewhere saying, hey, let's start this thing up. Just like probably any other traditional club on campus to some degree, but this sort of it's organic in its nature, and then ultimately, in many cases, the school has sort of seen it happen and say, hey, we got to respect this because it's a massive part of our population on our campus. So we don't really. I don't think of us as community builders necessarily, but I think of us as community supporters in the way that, hey, that school wants to work with us. How can we provide them the best possible experience, provide them the tools, resources, whatever they need, whether it's using our analytics, our data, our things to, build some traction in their own backyard and say, hey, look at this VP or president or dean or associate, whatever. This is real and this is happening, and you need to identify and you need to respect it, most importantly. So I think that's been really cool to work with schools in that way and say, listen, we're not asking for money. We're not asking for, whatever. Come play, and enjoy yourself. Have a good experience, because ultimately, if you show you're sustainable, you show you're legitimate, and you get that respect that you warrant, the school's going to pay attention to it. And they're going to provide you the resources you need. And that's what we're seeing is those dominoes falling of, starting from 5 or 6 kids, 7 or 8 kids starting an esports club or whatever, into varsity and fully fledged programs. So it's really cool to witness.
Yeah, it's growing by just doing what you love, and and people tell about it and so on and so on. I think it's the same as streaming, like I started streaming myself for like 9 years ago, and by then it was very unknown. So it was really hard to sort of grow in a way of like, oh, hey, telling people like I'm a streamer, because they had no idea. But because there was so many streamers in the Netherlands, that gave me like, an opportunity that people found me easier. Right now, definitely after COVID, it has been exploding, and there's so much to watch that, of course, it's harder to be seen. What helped for me quite a lot was that I was hosting for like Blizzard, ESL, and so on. So people saw me hosting events, and then they were like, oh, she's also a streamer, that's cool. So then you were playing the game that you were just hosting in a different country, and then you go back home sitting behind your PC, and the people could literally talk with you while they were just seeing you on a stage, hosting an esport tournament. So for me, that helped quite a lot to build my community, and I have a lot of people who are after, I've done that it started doing that in 2015, the first hosting for Blizzard, and that was also like, I have still people who are watching my stream daily after those tournaments. So I think that helped me. People come and go, but there's always sort of this core that will stay. And I think what's quite important to, for me at least, never feel more than your fans or your community. Like, be humble to them, be thankful for them, and not be like, oh yeah, of course they're coming because I'm great. Like, that's not working. I mean, it could work. There are some really big streamers who have nothing to do with their community, but the community is growing. But that has, that could be with really different ways, like maybe a really good player or like a sexy player, or I don't know. So there are so many ways why it could work. But in my case, it helped to be hosting. And I think I'm not like streaming, it's not my main job anymore. But I think because I try to stream like 3-4 times a week, just like 3 hours or something, and like keep the community a bit warm, that they know, okay, I'm here, let's play some video games together. That's the best thing to do with them. So
and I think to that point, I couldn't agree more. And really one of, the successful ventures when we began this was, we stream more of our contests than any other league in North America at the collegiate level. So people were seeing themselves, and all of a sudden, parents and friends and cousins and brothers and sisters and boyfriends and girlfriends were able to watch, as you talk about sort of, originally, a long time ago, there wasn't a lot. Now every game is being streamed, and every school basically within our conference is streaming most of their games, which is awesome. Yeah. It's really great to see that influx that you can find it. For us, it's challenging because you say, hey, we're devoting these resources. We only have so many people watching, but at the same time, they're watching their own school stream or whatever, which they should be. And we're thrilled to that. And extremely proud to be a part of that. But for us, in terms of building that community, people just saw us, right? They could say, hey, what's this? Oh, this team's playing that team. Oh, I know that school, right? My sister went there, or whatever. Yeah. You just sort of checked it out. And they were like, oh, this is legit. This is really happening. And our casters have been great. And our digital media team has been first class in building that. So that's been a massive effort for us. We're continue to, be proud to be the collegiate league in North America that streams more than any other. It's been a really good thing for us. And, we're really proud to tell the stories. Ultimately, it's, we talk a lot about, we want the competition to be really high and we want it to be first rate, and it is. But ultimately, we want to tell the stories of our people, right? These are college students. Hey, this is a sophomore, and she's the VanRyn captain, and she's a biology major or something like that, and she's also a great player, right? That's the type of stuff which is really cool, and the schools begin to see like, hey, I don't know about it, I don't understand it, but a lot of at the higher up level, they're like, but I recognize that that's Danielle, and I know her, right? And that's really cool. Even if I don't understand what all the gameplay or the ins and outs or anything like that, it's really cool. And that sort of that personalization element, and especially for the next generation of players, to begin to see themselves and think of themselves in that light, and how they have to behave on stream and be respectful and compete at that level, and all the things we hold our traditional student athletes up to, we're trying to hold our gaming community up to as well, with regards to academic standards and game times and all those things, and making sure that you're eligible to compete with us. And that's really central to what we do. But it's been really good. And the stream has just been a good way to, even if it's not the best game of the night or whatever, it's been a good way to tell the stories of our people. And, sometimes the outcomes, they are what they are. It's a 2-1 game or whatever it may be, but it's the stories about our people, and it's those interviews with those people, after the game, talking about it. And those are the things that we really want to focus on.
Yeah, like the excitement we just saw in the video.
Absolutely.
Like, it's great. It makes me like super happy when I see it. And of course, there are some different games that you guys do, but what is your favorite?
My favorite's Rocket League, just because I can understand it pretty thoroughly. That's a little juvenile, I will say that, in terms of that. But being a traditional guy, I can sort of understand the soccer component of it. I say all the time, Marcella, you can laugh at this if you want. If it wasn't for a score bug on our screen, I would not know who's winning. I wouldn't know what was going on most of our titles most of the night. But it's awesome. We have a massive Valorant community, not surprisingly, with the growth of that particular title. It's been really good for us. We're up to 8 titles that we offer this semester. We've seen rapid growth and a handful, and then we're proud to offer some niche titles which other leagues don't sponsor, because there is that sort of devoted community to smaller titles like a Smite or something like that. That's
100%.
not a huge whatever title, but there's a devoted community that wants to have a really good experience competing in that, and we're proud to offer those things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think they can teach you quite some things then.
I'm open. I love it. That's why I say, like, my best attribute is that I don't know anything about anything. And I'm proud to say that, and I've loved it, and I've learned every day. I've learned more during these last 3 years than I probably have the prior 40 in my life. Okay.
So which platforms are ideal for building a gaming community?
Oh boy, I mean, obviously ours is Discord. That's the one that we use for our our central theme of our central hub of information and whatnot. I think that's a kind of a no-brainer. Our social platforms are good. They're very important to us. It's an engaged community that we're proud of. You talk about the giveaway at the end of this. Like, whenever we do a giveaway, those numbers are crazy, and we have to make sure that it's not a bot or somebody like that that's searching giveaway or whatever, and then they sign up and they retweet or whatever it may be. Certainly the social platforms for us, we're trying to look forward to the future, looking into things like TikTok and doing more in that area.
Yeah, smart.
Because that's where this community is living right now, and we want to speak to them, and we want to tell the stories of our people. We want to continue to enhance and grow and continue to support as many programs and as many teams and ultimately as many players as we can. So those are the ones that are really important to us. It starts with Discord for us. We have over 10,000, probably upwards of probably 11 or 12 at this juncture. I haven't checked it recently, but that are actively engaged, and we put something out, and there's feedback, and there's that's the way we communicate on a daily, nightly basis with them. And, it's important to us.
Yeah. And in the meanwhile, we have a question. Which platforms are you guys the most active on? Well, you said Discord. And because
we're really, really busy on Twitter. I say busy.
Okay.
It's constant stream of content there.
Okay. We also had, because for gaming. Yeah. So what do you guys stream it as well? Like the things?
Yeah, we stream Monday through Friday. Our channel is twitch.tv, necc_esports, and then we have our secondary channel, which is necc2.
All on Twitch or also YouTube? Or?
Twitch, YouTube, you name it, we're there.
PvP,
we try to.
You have to put it on PvP.
Yeah. We also have a partnership that helps do some linear programming as well, which helps us. It's been good for our distribution, and again for some of the legitimacy factor for moms and dads that can go onto their TV, their smart TV, and click up a channel and say, "Holy cow, that's my kid!" Right? If they're listen, the older generation's probably not going to use Twitch as much, but if they can, they got their smart TV and they can download a channel and they see their son or daughter playing, they're like, "Wow, that's cool!" Right? I mean, that's really awesome. So yeah, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and anywhere we can be, just like anything else. And for us, we don't lament the fact that we don't have hundreds of thousands of viewers. We want to be sort of authentic to the the core audience that we have.
It's also the family and everything. They're like friends. They can say like, "Oh my god, I'm going to be like live there," and people are going to watch that, and that's okay, because in the that's not the most important thing that you're growing there. Like it's important you're growing on the college, that you can do these things.
Yeah, and I think for us, it's important to make sure that we're making it legitimate in that degree, right? You get to tune in and say, "Hey, I can watch that game and I can watch it live."
Yeah. And you definitely should make some highlights and put it on PvP. I think that's a smart idea.
It'll be done. We'll get that. Our digital media.
A lot of people on PvP are from America, so in that way, it's a smart way to do. By the way, chat, if you got any more questions, please tell me so I can ask. And also, thank you, Tio. He said, I started watching your stream when I watched your host Heroes of the Storm, Marcella. The game I love to play, and that's awesome. Yeah, and I appreciate it. I mean, you're still watching my streams. That's super cool. Playing even the games with me. So that's how cool it is that you can go from being just like a host on a big stage that people like, wow, and now they're playing video games with you. So gaming brings a lot of people together, and that's great. Well, you guys are maybe having some questions. I'm going to the next thing, because my favorite word, collegiate gaming community. How does a student start with that kind of gaming? And tell us something about how it works.
Yeah, I think for us, I think you get to a campus, and now, schools, when students enroll in whatever college or university they choose or whatever it may be, their next path, we're proud to work with them. We're proud to work with teams, across all these titles and provide them with that experience. But I think for them to get on, for them to get involved, it's just, work with us and reach out to our team. I really take great pride in having that initial conversation with a director or a team or whatever, and just learning about them. Because one of the unique things about Collegiate in North America right now is that, there are schools with $7 million budgets and there are schools with $7 budgets. Yeah. And we're proud to work with all of them. So for me, it's really been insightful, and I talk about sort of the friendships that I've built in this space. Marcella, you talk about that, playing games with people that, saw you, and then, that night they're, whatever, it's a real personal thing. So yeah. For me to, for someone to reach out, or for me to reach out to someone and have I'm based in the eastern part of the United States, for someone in California or Hawaii to reach out, and I'm having a conversation and learning more about their program, what they want to do and what they want to offer, and what their vision is, and how can we help support that? That's really pretty authentic and pretty important to me. And, like I said, I have hundreds of friends just from these conversations. And I know that, our staff, they're really proud to know the players through our streams. And, over the course of 2 or 3, 4 or 5 semesters, they're on our stream a handful of times. And you start to have that friendship. Hey, great job. Our casters are like, we're fired up to broadcast that team because they always bring it and it's a lot of fun and stuff like that. So that's really pretty special. And I think that this is, for us, this is really, it's an effort of love. It's a passion. But ultimately it's about our players and how can we support them in the best way possible so that they have a great experience. And ultimately, for them, it's a path to whatever it may be. If it's path to pro, if it's path to a career in the gaming industry, if they just want to play and they do something else, whatever, it's a cool experience. And we're proud to work with such a wide variety of students throughout, so many different, colleges and universities.
It's great. Like I'm listening to you and I see how you when you talk about it, you can see this is also your passion. I mean, yes, you don't maybe know everything about the gaming itself, but the passion you have for this whole project, that you're working on, I think it's great to see. And I think it's really a good thing for a lot of people who have nothing to do with gaming. They found out that, wow, there's so much more. And it's really great to listen to you. So I think we could talk for hours, really.
We could. One other thing I'll say to that point, I appreciate the kind words. It's very nice of you. The thing that I didn't know, and everybody has the stereotype in this generation of what gaming is, right? The toxicity, oh my God, the horrible language, oh my God, it's male dominated, et cetera, et cetera. This is such a warm, inclusive, welcoming community that it's so humbling to be a part of. And I mean that genuinely. Like the fact that I speak to people that I never would have talked to about things I don't know about, but I'm learning about. And the fact that they're willing to take 10 minutes and explain it to me and say, have you thought about this? Or what about that? Like that sort of like organic conversation, that authentic, like community building effort is really, really special to be a part of. And I don't take it for granted.
No, that's great. By the way, in the meanwhile, if you guys hear bling, that's because I'm not touching my mouse. And every time when I touch my mouse again, it just reconnects or something. So that's why you hear a sound. I need to use my mouse more. Normally I do, but now I don't. So I'm just listening. So they know what the sound is. It's not your computer, it's mine. I don't see any questions from the chat. So I'm just going with my paper. How to build a safe... Ooh, I heard myself very loud back. How to build a safe and inclusive gaming community for college students. Because you said it before, it has to be a safe space. People have to be, comfortable. But how do you build it? Apart from monitoring the bad words and everything.
Yeah, I think what we've tried to do, and I think this is where my history in traditional college athletics has helped. Because one of the first things we did when we began this effort was create sort of a code of conduct and a governance structure. that we weren't going to tolerate this behavior, that it wasn't, even if it existed, it wasn't okay. So the analogy we talk a lot about is that, listen, these schools and these directors, they're very comfortable sending their soccer field out onto the pitch with 2 or 3 officials that they've never met. They couldn't pick out of a lineup, but they understand that if something's going to go sideways, they sort of blindly trust these people that they'll provide safekeeping for their student athletes. For us, it was really putting a lot of those measures in place to say, listen, you might not understand what's going on in a League of Legends game or a Valorant game or whatever it may be, whatever title it is, but you can really understand that competing with us, that team can compete, they can sign up, they can register, and they're going to be taken care of. And if there's any behavior that you're not comfortable with, that we're not comfortable with, it's going to be addressed and it's going to be handled properly, just like anything else. So I think that setting up that system of legitimacy and not just that wild west term, which if I had a nickel every time I heard it, I wouldn't be here with you. I'd be in a tropical island somewhere. It's really putting those things in place that the community really wants, right? For that group to be legitimacy and all the stuff they want in terms of, hey, we want to be heard, we want to be respected, we want to be funded, we want to be supported, just like any other club or program or varsity team on our campus. They've got to abide by those things and they've got to buy into that sort of. So that's been important for us, that, hey, listen, that behavior is not going to be tolerated. Maybe you got away with it somewhere else, but you're not getting away with it here. And I think that, some of those measures, those structures in place, that 7 o'clock game is going to start between 6:59 and 7:03, somewhere in there. It's not going to be stuck up in a Discord chat and, somebody's got to run to dinner, I got to call mom and dad, I got to finish a paper, and it's going to start at 8:30, 9 o'clock. That's not fair. That's not fair to the other team. That's not fair to the other players. It's not going to happen with us. So we've tried to build it like a traditional sport. And I think as a result of that, that community has said, hey, this is a legitimate thing and we want to be a part of it. So that's been good for us.
Good to hear. I think this is something that a lot of people would like to be a part of, really. And then, of course, the future of gaming tournaments for students. How do you see the future with this and with these tournaments with the students?
Yeah, I think for us, our future looks to continue to flush it out and continue to structure it in a way which is even better than it is now. And I think we come at it from a good place. One of the things, Marcella, we talk a lot about almost on a daily basis is, we're better today than we were yesterday. We'll be better tomorrow than we are today. And that's intentional, right? We don't have all the answers. I'll be the first to tell you that. But we're going to work to making sure that we can provide that great experience. So I think for the future of tournaments, we want to enhance our national championship element, whatever that looks like. Right now, we're really proud that each of our division winners gets a trophy, gets an award to celebrate and recognize their accomplishment. We have about 150 divisions now, so that's pretty cool that they get that legitimacy thing. But ultimately, we want to make sure to get that structure. We want to have more in-person competition that we talked about earlier. One of the things that's been really cool is with our growth, a lot of our conferences now and a lot of our divisions are based more on not only based on competitive nature, but also where teams are located, where schools are located. So not only do you have a Rocket League division that's all around 2,000 average, but they're all within a 4-hour radius of one another. So we're starting to see some of those games take place in person, and those type things are really, really good and really healthy and really positive to see. So I think more of those efforts going forward, more of it flushed out, just continue to grow and develop and build. And I think some of that just comes with the maturity of the space, of the leadership, of the directors, and even the student. I don't use that word as, just speaking to adults. Some of the student directors we work with are some of the best people we work with because they're committed and they're locked in and they're focused and they're really good leaders on their own campuses. So that's really, really special to be a part of. And I think that, as we look forward, it's continuing to grow, continuing to provide the best possible experience we can. It's flushing out, all those analytical data. How do we enhance the, on-screen visuals? How do we enhance the viewing? How do we enhance, the competitive structure? What makes the most sense? What's our point structure to look like to qualify for nationals at each spring, summer, et cetera? All those things, continue to just dive into them and just make them better across the board. And we're certainly on our way.
Awesome. Well, I think that was it. I think people got a lot of information. I appreciate it. I think, like I said before, we could have talked for a very long time. And it's once again great to see your passion. Keep that going. Keep that passion, warm. And where can people, the webpage, and where they can find you all?
Yep, our best location is necc.gg. Our socials are, necc games, Twitter, Instagram, et cetera, et cetera. I'm always available. Like I said, meeting people in this community. You know, Marcella, you and I would have never crossed paths otherwise. So that doesn't get lost on me. And I appreciate you, appreciate all you've done, and definitely appreciate being a tiny part of this world, because it's a really special and really positive community to be a part of.
100%. Yeah, I love it. I'm in the gaming industry and I will not leave. And the same for you now. You're now also stuck in this community. Yeah.
That's exactly right. I'm very proud of that.
Thank you. Well, once again, I heard my mouse going again because, of course, I used it. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm going to say bye to you. So I'm going to do a little wave. And then I'm going to the next guest. So thank you so much, Jacob. And have a lovely day or night or what time it is for you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye. Bye. And there is Deejay. Hello.
Hello. Good to be here. Thank you.
Good to have you here as well. I mean, normally I would say we talk Dutch, but that's not going to be a good thing for the rest of everyone to listen to.
Could be nice, but the rest won't understand.
They will not understand. They're like, what are they talking about? Because yes, Deejay is from the Netherlands as well. And we both have a love for gaming and cars. So I like this. So we're going to have to talk about today about the Cryptopolis from CFX. Sorry if I'm correct. If I say
that's
that
correct.
Yeah. Do a little introduction about yourself first.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I'm Deejay. I love cars as well. I started racing last year, so that's where we saw each other without noticing. And in our first meeting, I thought like, okay, that's a familiar face. So we have the same hobby, I guess, and we are working on games. Yeah, we founded CFX-Gaming in October 2021. So it's 1.5 years ago, and we did a big asset sale to get the funds in to actually develop what we thought of. And we are a blockchain game. It's what they call the Web3 gaming, right? But there's still a gap to adapt the Web 2 world to the Web 3 world. So we like to call ourselves Web 2.5 gaming, because we really believe in that transition.
Yeah.
So what we thought, I was like, I think you have the same, right? If you have a game and you buy assets, these assets are never really owned by you and won't keep their value. It's always in custody of the company itself.
Yeah.
So what we thought of was like, okay, the gamers really deserve to own their own assets. So what they buy and the assets they buy next that fits to the other asset, they can literally build a lifetime value. So after 5 years of playing, instead of just spending money and losing your money, you could just sell everything you bought for a certain price. But how do we introduce that to the world? Like keeping it simple. What you spoke about to Jacob as well, creating a community is very important, because they can be your ambassadors. And then we were thinking, you know the game. It's a Dutch game, and not everybody outside of the Netherlands knows it. But Habbo Hotel.
Yeah, I think every Dutchie knows.
Yeah. And speaking about community, right? That's a community game.
Wow, big.
So the thing we did is like what we were missing with Habbo Hotel was the need system. So really taking care of your character to keep it functional. And what game does have the need system? That's The Sims. So we combined The Sims and Habbo Hotel together.
Yeah.
And that's when we started building, and now we are 1.5 years later, and the game is in early release already.
Nice, quick.
And we're raising our first equity round to go to the full release in about 6 months. So we're really getting there, and the partnerships are flying up. I'm even talking to Google these days. So
wow, and that's something you would not have thought about if you were, if someone said that to you a couple of years ago. You were like, well, because like I'm curious, how did you start in the gaming industry? Like you were always a gamer yourself, or?
Not at all.
Not at all. Oh.
Not at all.
Also not.
I became more of a gamer once we started with it, but I started creating my own luxury gyms in Holland. So we more or less started through an entrepreneurship mindset, and we're investing in crypto, and we had our own small venture capital, who were also investing in other projects. So we thought of a game and like, okay, it would be fun if we have our own project. And 2 months after we thought of it, the whole gaming and NFT world just exploded. So we were like, okay, let's get it off the shelf. And what we could let another development company develop the game, but why don't we do it ourselves? And even the head of studios of Habbo Hotel is now our head of studios. So we have the guy who was working on Habbo Hotel.
He has done well, because Habbo Hotel is something that everyone knows, I think, in the Netherlands at least. To be honest, I have maybe played it like very short, but some people have played it for years, if not still.
Years and years, and they have had very, very loud discussions with their parents while they were calling for credits, right?
Oh yeah, for a lot of fights, I know. So the story behind Cryptopolis, you kind of said it already. It was an idea, put it on a shelf, but took it back. Anything more that was behind it? Because you went for gaming. Why that?
We see the transition, and we had our network. And because it was just an idea, it just came out of like, okay, let's just think of an idea and put it on the shelf. So it was there. And because the hype came in and we know how to set up a company, we just chose to do it. And by coincidence, we still think it's very fun to work on the game and get the community in. But what I like about going from Web 2 to Web 3 is the real transition and growing up the space. And I think gaming, especially since COVID, got real hyped up again. And gaming is one of the biggest industries in the world. So if you look for the challenge of entrepreneurship, I think this is one of the biggest one we could take ourselves. So that was a real reason to take that step.
Smart. I mean, and now you're here, it goes very quick. So I think you made a right step to do this. And what part of Cryptopolis is the most exciting? I mean, it's growing a lot, but is there something that you're very excited about? Or there are different parts. So we have a business to consumer part and a business to business part. And the thing about Cryptopolis, because it has a need system, and you have to go to the gym with your character, you have to consume food, you have to sleep, you have to do a job, you can even start your own company in the game. But the thing is, which fits very good to what you spoke to Jacob about, is the community building. So it's free to play. We have a community, and we have been very transparent to them since the beginning, and that really makes ambassadors of them. And there are a lot of opportunities also for gamers who can earn a monthly salary with it. So you can play mini games and wager our token against each other, so you can win tokens. But for example, if we have an asset sale with only gym equipment, and you're fast enough to buy most of the gym equipment, you can fill in your room with it. And since the other players don't have the gym equipment, but they have to go to the gym, you can ask for a membership, monthly membership. So if you're smart enough, you can just do whatever you want in the game, and everything is possible. And crazy. So it's like real life, but then in a game.
Yeah, exactly. That makes it so exciting, because you can literally achieve in the game what you wanted to achieve in real life, and it doesn't matter what age you are, you can still do it, but then in our game. So that makes it really exciting.
In a couple of years, people will be like, I do own a gym, and they'll be like, oh really? Yeah, in a game. And they're like, huh? But I do earn money with it. Real life. That's interesting.
The barrier goes down.
Yeah, 100%. I think we're gonna look at some gameplay. Let me go to that. DJ, there we go. I'm gonna play now.
Yeah, sure. So, looking at your Twitch as well. So what you see here is I'm running in the lobby. This is the first spot you get in, and I'll just show you a bit what is what. But I think it's a bit delayed. So what you see now is the prestige level, and on the right is your character. Character its own fitness, charisma. You can feel that in the beginning, and you can really give your character a personality by that.
Okay.
And you can switch clothes. These are all NFTs. And the first thing you do is go to the concierge. You see it behind the desk, and he will give you your first room, which is shown by the door on the right. This is your friends list. So friends added you can find over there, and you can visit their rooms as well. A lot of games have quest lines, right? So we have quest lines as well.
Always fun to do.
Yeah, and that's the free-to-play part, because you have the silver coins over there, which shows 14, which you can grind by completing quests, and also buy NFTs with it. And these are our booster packs, so the common, rare, and the ultra rare, which show well, the more rarity it is, the more legendary NFTs you will get. Every pack contains
cool.
5 NFTs,
Yeah.
Which you can buy with our token. So if you say hi to the concierge at the first user experience, you will get the room. That's a basic NFT. And then you can go to the elevator and it goes up to your room. I already have filled in the room a little bit. It's a very small room, but it just shows you what the free room is. And these are your NFTs. You can click
build
on
it because like you're getting
really
more money.
Yeah, you can decorate it. So for example, if these were the gym equipment, right, you can just fill up your whole room. But I will show you in a bit what the possibilities are, because you can expand your room by playing the game even more. And what you see over here is a very dirty bed, right? So it's a common bed, and it takes quite a while to complete the sleep session. But the more legendary your bed is, the faster it goes.
Okay.
So you really benefit if you have a bed that's legendary.
Yeah.
You can shower as well, because at the bottom you see the need system. You see energy, shower, happiness, social.
Yeah.
And once the shower is completed, you will see my hygiene go up. And if all of the hygiene and happiness, etc., is very low, it's very difficult to play the game. So you have to keep it updated.
That's cool, because then you will come back. So
exactly, you have to come back to take care of your character. This is the library. So this is a social place, where, like a little bit same as like Habbo Hotel, right? You can run around.
Yeah,
and,
I directly do have to, like you said, it's exactly a Sims / Habbo.
Yeah,
the same way you're looking at it. Yeah.
Exactly, it's a real good combination, which we thought of, and like the missing parts of Habbo Hotel, we added some things of the Sims and the other way around.
Yeah.
So I was just talking about the silver coins. Here you have the machine. If you have 200 silver coins, you can put it in a machine.
Yeah.
And then you can spin it, and then you will get a random NFT. And if you do it often enough, then you can start trading with other players. So you can literally trade 5 common NFTs for maybe a legendary NFT.
Cool.
And that's the way free-to-play users can also gain leveling.
That's nice. Yep.
So
the silver coins are the one that are free, and then there's these gold ones.
Yeah. So the CPO is our token. That's our crypto token, which you can buy online through a MetaMask wallet or on PancakeSwap.
Now you're making a pizza.
Yeah. So this is the way to grind the silver coins. So you have to complete making a pizza.
Yeah.
It takes a while. But and then you can bake it in the oven, and once it's done, you can sell your pizza, and you will receive 4 silver coins for it.
Yeah. I think this is a game that you're really, before you know it, it's a couple hours later.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
that's kind of good because I like that.
It's still an early release, right? So it's just only this, but it's already there are already people who have prestige level 20, and I'm only level 3. So that says how much we already can do. And the thing is, it's really hard for people who don't understand crypto to buy tokens, right? So what we did is we pulled the game. Our core is Web3 and blockchain, but everything around it has a Web2 jacket on. So I'm going to sell my pizza now. I'm going to continue my story after this because I want to show you this. Yeah. So there it goes. I get 4 silver coins.
You got coins.
Yeah, but what we did is our core is Web3 and blockchain, but the outside layer, which people see, is Web 2.
Yep.
So we are using a fiat on-ramp system. So people can sign on with their socials. And because our payment service provider is very innovative, people can just buy with credit card or with Ideal or with a bank transfer.
Yeah, is there an age? Because of course we're talking about maybe money, so kids can play this, but also then that's with the silver coins. But if they want really the CPO ones, then
Yeah, exactly. That's true. So that's something we try to achieve, and we really know it's a difficult part, but we believe in the transition. Yeah, it's eating a banana.
Yeah, and I need to fix you because we have.
Take your time.
So in the meanwhile, I am trying to fix this, everyone.
Yeah, just fix it. I'll just run through the game a little.
Yeah, you can just keep on talking.
Yeah,
I need
sure.
to get you back because that's when someone leaves, then you're gone. Now I can see myself talking. Hello.
Not to worry.
Okay, you're back. You're almost back.
Almost.
Almost back, trying to capture you. You were literally in the middle of the screen now. Sorry,
Yeah, I
everyone.
think Jacob left, right?
Yeah, he left.
Okay, sure. No worries.
This is quite hard to do, everyone, if you're like midstream. I had it perfectly done.
It's almost there.
Yeah, almost. Okay. And meanwhile, I almost have it.
Yeah, that's weird. So I'm also going to show the business-to-business side for example, for influencers.
Yeah.
What you see now is the guy you see over there, the other character, is an influencer who is working for us.
Yeah.
And this is literally a copy of his apartment.
Okay. Oh, that's nice.
So it's a cross-marketing thing because we can add all of his channels to it. So if we have a big community in the future, then we will show his channels. And if he creates videos, he can show us to their community. And so that's the way we do the cross-marketing as well.
Yeah,
And that's also something we can do with business to business. For example, if you take Nike, if they have a special edition for a shoe, you can literally create a shop in a shopping mall.
Yeah.
Which is Nike. So it's a web shop, but it looks like a mall. You could go there with your character.
Smart.
And then you can buy the shoe and put it on your character and receive the real life asset at home as well. So there's a real interesting business to business side to it as well.
Yeah. Well, it looks really fun. What do you guys think in the chat? Is this something you would like to play yourself, or? And I mean, we have already in the chat as well the website cryptopolisgame.com, also Twitter Cryptopolisgame, and we got your Twitter as well, DJ_CFX. It looks fun. Yep, indeed looks really fun. I totally got distracted by fixing the cameras, but I already fixed it on time in this.
I think we were able to show everybody what it looks like, right? So I think that's a good thing. And since the link is in there as well, people can start playing it themselves if they know how to use a MetaMask wallet. Like the fiat on-ramp system to make it very easy to play the game straight away will be right in the summer or right after the summer.
Yeah.
And make sure to check out the website, because 2 weeks ago we launched our experience website, and that's very cool as well.
Yeah, and next to that, we also have a giveaway going on.
Yeah.
And it's a 5-time Cryptopolis common booster pack. So that is interesting. So what you have to do is to participate in this. Follow at Cryptopolis Game plus PvPGameHub on Twitter. Share one of the posts about On the Radar live show with the hashtag Cryptopolis and hashtag PvPGameHub. So if you want to make a chance to win one of those 5 Cryptopolis common booster packs, definitely do that, because I think that's really cool if you already start with something. And you said 5 common items you can trade, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you got 5, you can trade one common item, but I don't think if somebody has a legendary, it would trade it for one common.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Be smart enough, and maybe you will we'll get some legendary NFTs as well.
Yeah. Well, with that said, I want to thank you as well for being a guest today.
Sure.
Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did.
I did. Thank you.
And we probably will see each other in real life.
Yeah. I think we'll see each other on the circuit anyway. So
yeah.
See you then.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And I'm going to be also, for everyone who's like listening, I'm waving now to DJ Y.
Thanks. Cheers.
Okay. Bye. And with that said, everyone, it's back me. Big on your screen. Hello. I want to thank everyone for watching again, listening again. And of course, don't forget to follow us, PvPGameHub, on Twitter or PvP app or wherever. If you want to follow me, I'm Marcella de Bie. I'm literally everywhere, Marcella de Bie, on Twitch, Instagram, whatever. So easy to be found. What's coming up next? Well, in 2 weeks, we will have competitive gaming. So I think that's quite interesting. I really like it as well because, of course, I've been a part of that. Not myself, but as a host. So I am looking forward to that show. Hope you all too. And thank you once again, and have a lovely day, night, morning, depends where you're from. So see you all very, very soon again. Ciao, ciao.